Dr. Sarah Chen stood frozen before the massive display screen at the Arecibo Deep Space Research Center, her coffee cup halfway to her lips. The signal pattern pulsing across the screen defied everything she knew about natural cosmic phenomena. After 15 years of searching the stars for signs of intelligent life, she was staring at what could only be an artificial transmission. "Run it again," she ordered, her voice barely a whisper. Her team of researchers worked silently, their fingers flying across holographic interfaces. The signal repeated, a perfect mathematical sequence that couldn't be explained by any known astronomical event. Within hours, every major space agency on Earth was patched into their feed. The signal wasn't just complex, it was approaching. Fast. Admiral David Torres paced the floor of the United Earth Defense Council chamber, his decorated uniform a stark contrast to the civilian clothes of the scientists and politicians surrounding him. "So you're telling me this signal is coming from a ship, moving at speeds we thought impossible?" "Not just a ship." Sarah projected a three-dimensional model above the conference table. "Based on our calculations, we're looking at a vessel approximately 30 kilometers in length, and it's decelerating. They want to make contact." The chamber erupted in worried murmurs. Humanity had dreamed of first contact for centuries, but now that it was happening, fear threatened to overwhelm wonder. The alien vessel emerged from faster-than-light travel just beyond Mars' orbit, its hull gleaming with an otherworldly iridescence that made it look like liquid metal frozen in space. Earth's combined fleet of defensive ships, barely 50 vessels, took up position around the planet, knowing they stood no chance against something so advanced. The first transmission came 3 days later. The aliens called themselves the Vanguard, and they were running from something that had already destroyed 1,000 worlds. "We offer you a choice," the alien message stated, translated through quantum computers. "Join us, learn from us, fight with us, or face the void alone when it comes. You have 3 rotations of your planet to decide." Sarah found herself aboard humanity's flagship, the UES Hawking, as part of the first contact team. As they approached the Vanguard vessel in a small shuttle, she could finally appreciate its true scale. The ship's surface wasn't smooth as it had appeared from a distance, but covered in intricate patterns that seemed to shift and move, like circuits made of living metal. "They're opening their hangar bay," the pilot announced, his voice tight with tension. "Point of no return, folks." The shuttle passed through an energy field that sparkled like diamonds, and Sarah felt a subtle shift in gravity. The hangar bay could have housed entire cities, yet it was empty except for a small welcoming party of tall, silvery figures waiting on a raised platform. The Vanguard were humanoid, but clearly artificial, synthetic beings of light and metal that moved with liquid grace. Their leader stepped forward, its form shifting like mercury as it approached. Dr. Sarah Chen. It spoke, its voice resonating directly in their minds. "We have watched your species for some time. Your determination to survive, to explore, to understand. It reminds us of what we once were before we shed our organic forms." Sarah stepped forward, her heart pounding. "You said something is coming. Something that destroy your original homeworld." The Vanguard leader's form rippled with what might have been sadness. "We call them the Void Collective. They are unlike anything you have encountered. They do not seek to conquer or enslave. They seek to end, to erase, to return all matter to primordial chaos. We have fled them across 12 galaxies, helping civilizations prepare when we can. Some survive. Most do not. Why us?" Admiral Torres demanded. "Why Earth?" "Because," the Vanguard replied, "in all our travels, we have never encountered a species that has survived so much, evolved so quickly, and maintained such fierce determination to exist. You are young, yes. Your technology is primitive compared to ours. But you have something we lost long ago. The ability to think beyond logic, to find solutions where none should exist." The Vanguard leader gestured, and the hangar bay walls became transparent, revealing the vast expanse of space and Earth shining like a blue jewel in the distance. The Void Collective approaches. We estimate you have less than 1 Earth year before they arrive. We offer you our technology, our knowledge, our partnership. But know this, if you accept, you will be drawing their attention. They will come for you first, with everything they have. Sarah looked back at Earth, thinking of everything humanity had already survived. Wars, plagues, climate disasters, and their own worst impulses. Yet here they stood, reaching for the stars. "How do we begin?" she asked. The Vanguard leader's form brightened. "With understanding. Let us show you what you're truly capable of." As Sarah followed the synthetic beings deeper into their vessel, she couldn't shake the feeling that humanity was about to be tested in ways they couldn't imagine. But perhaps that's what humanity did best: face the impossible and find a way to make it possible. The first contact had been made. Now the real work would begin. 6 months after first contact, Earth had changed more than it had in the previous century. The Vanguard's massive ship now orbited alongside the Moon, its presence a constant reminder of both hope and impending doom. But it was in the shipyards of Mars where humanity's future was being forged. Captain Maya Rodriguez stood at the observation deck of the newly constructed Olympus station, watching as robotic constructors swarmed around the skeletal frame of humanity's first hybrid warship. The vessel combined Vanguard technology with human innovation, and even incomplete, it was the most beautiful thing she'd ever seen. Impressive, isn't it? Dr. Chen appeared beside her, looking exhausted but excited. Dark circles under her eyes testified to countless sleepless nights working with the Vanguard. "We're calling it the Prometheus." Maya nodded, studying the ship's distinctive design. Unlike the flowing, organic shapes of Vanguard vessels, the Prometheus was all sharp angles and bold geometry. "How much of it is actually ours?" "More than you'd think," Sarah replied. "The Vanguard are brilliant, but they think in straight lines. Pure logic. When we showed them our plans to modify their technology, they said it was impossible. Then our engineers did it anyway." The ship's most striking feature was its hull, a lattice of human-designed quantum crystalline matrices combined with Vanguard living metal. The result was something entirely new, a surface that could not only adapt to damage, but actually learn from it. Below them, in the station's main hangar, the first group of human pilots was preparing to test the neural interface systems adapted from Vanguard technology. The synthetic beings had been surprised by how quickly humans adapted to direct mind-machine connections. What had taken their species centuries to perfect, humans were managing in months. "They're afraid, you know," Sarah said quietly, watching the pilots. "The Vanguard. They won't admit it, but this scares them. The Void Collective. No. Us." Sarah turned to face Maya. "We're advancing too quickly, making connections they never considered, taking their perfect, logical systems and turning them into something unpredictable." A flash of light drew their attention back to the Prometheus. Engineers were testing the new weapon systems, another human innovation. The Vanguard had provided designs for energy weapons that could tear apart matter at the quantum level. Humanity's scientists had looked at these planet-killing weapons and asked, but what if we made them heal instead? The resulting technology could theoretically reorganize matter at will. In testing, it had turned solid steel into gas, and back again. The Vanguard had been stunned, not by the technology itself, but by the fact that humans had immediately seen its potential for creation rather than destruction. An alarm blared through the station. Maya's comm unit crackled to life. "Captain Rodriguez to command immediately." In the command center, Admiral Torres stood with the Vanguard leader, now known simply as Prime, studying the holographic display of the outer solar system. "We've lost contact with our deep space sensors past Neptune," Torres announced as Maya and Sarah entered. Prime's liquid metal form rippled with concern. "The void approaches faster than anticipated. They have evolved, adapted. Perhaps they sense what we are building here." "How long?" Maya asked. 3 months, Prime replied. "At most." Torres straightened his uniform. Then we accelerate the timeline. Captain Rodriguez, the Prometheus was scheduled for her first test flight next month. You have 1 week to get your crew ready. Maya felt her heart race. The Prometheus was the most advanced ship ever built by human hands, but it was untested, experimental. Sir, with all due respect, we haven't even completed the weapon systems integration. Then you'll complete it in space, Torres replied. We need to know what that ship can do before the main Void fleet arrives. Take her to the Kuiper Belt. Give us a demonstration. Prime moved closer, its form shifting thoughtfully. There is something else, something we have not shared. The synthetic being gestured, and a new hologram appeared. A detailed scan of what appeared to be a massive construction hidden in the Kuiper Belt. We detected this shortly after arriving in your system, Prime explained. It bears similarities to ancient technology we've encountered before, technology that predates even our civilization. We believe it may be a weapon of sorts, but its purpose eludes our logic. Sarah studied the scans intently. And you want us to investigate it while we're testing the Prometheus. Your species sees patterns where we see only chaos, Prime acknowledged. Perhaps you will understand what we cannot. Maya looked at the strange structure in the hologram, then at the half-finished form of the Prometheus through the command center's windows. Humanity had come so far in such a short time, but would it be enough? 1 week, she said finally. We'll be ready. As the others filed out of the command center, Prime held Maya back. Captain, there is one more thing you should know. The Void Collective, they are not simply destroyers. They are something far worse. They are what happens when a species achieves perfection and finds it meaningless. Maya felt a chill run down her spine. What do you mean? They seek to end existence because they have concluded it is flawed. And the truly terrifying thing is, by their logic, they are correct. That is why we need you. Human logic may be the only thing that can save us all. Through the window, the Prometheus caught the light of the distant sun, its experimental hull shimmering with possibilities. 1 week to prepare for a mission that could determine the fate of not just humanity, but all life as they knew it. Maya smiled grimly. They had achieved the impossible before. Time to do it again. The Prometheus cut through the darkness of the outer solar system, its experimental hull absorbing what little starlight reached this far from the sun. Captain Maya Rodriguez sat in the neural interface chair, feeling the ship as if it were an extension of her own body. The sensation had taken some getting used to, but now she couldn't imagine piloting any other way. Contact, her sensor officer, Lieutenant James Chen, announced. Multiple signatures emerging from the Kuiper Belt. They're different from anything in the Vanguard database. Maya felt it through the ship's sensors, a wrongness in space itself. Where the objects passed, the background radiation of the universe simply stopped, as if reality was being selectively erased. Full stop, she ordered. The Prometheus responded instantly to her thought, its hybrid engines pulsing. Get me a visual. The main view screen flickered to life, showing what at first appeared to be a cluster of asteroids. But as they watched, the objects began to change. Their surfaces rippled and flowed, taking on impossible geometries that hurt to look at. By all the stars, Dr. Sarah Chen whispered from her station. They're not ships at all. They're gaps in reality. The largest of the objects suddenly accelerated, moving with impossible speed. Before Maya could react, it was alongside the Prometheus, dwarfing their vessel. The ship's sensors screamed warnings as space itself began to distort. A transmission cut through all their communications channels, not in words or images, but in pure concepts that burned themselves into their minds. Imperfect to be ainge. Flovlo edexistnc. We are the QORATVine. Maya gritted her teeth against the mental invasion. Open a channel. Let's see if they're willing to talk. Captain, Sarah interrupted. I'm detecting massive energy readings. They're scanning us. No, they're scanning through us. It's like they're reading the quantum structure of the ship itself. Your vessel contains vanguardtechnology, corrupted, modified, imperfect. You have taken purity and made it chos. The message came with a wave of what felt like disgust. Maya felt it through her neural link. The Void Collective wasn't just disapproving of their modifications to Vanguard technology. They were offended by the very concept of adaptation and change. "This is Captain Maya Rodriguez of the Earth vessel Prometheus," she broadcast. "We know who you are. The Vanguard warned us about you. The Vanguard are failures. They HEGEVD purification and TURND away from it. They EMBRACEDCHA. As you know we do." Through the view screen, they watched as more void ships appeared, each one a violation of natural law. The objects began to move in complex patterns, and with horror, Maya realized they were starting to break down the fabric of space itself. "They're creating a vacuum decay," Sarah shouted. "They're going to unravel reality around us." Maya felt the Prometheus shudder as exotic particles began bombarding its hull. But something unexpected was happening. The hybrid crystalline matrix they'd created wasn't just resisting the attack, it was learning from it. Through her neural link, Maya could sense the ship's hull actually adapting, creating new atomic structures that shouldn't have been possible. "Impossible," the Void Collective transmitted. "Your TCHNOLG EVOVEs, CHANGs. This is not permitted." "That's humanity for you," Maya replied. "We don't much care what's permitted. Lieutenant Chen, activate the matter reorganization system." The experimental weapon they'd created from Vanguard technology sprang to life. Beams of pure possibility lanced out from the Prometheus, not attacking the void ships directly, but changing the space around them. Where reality was being unmade, they remade it, forcing chaos back into order. The void ships recoiled, their impossible geometries fluctuating wildly. "You do not understand. Perfection is CTILNES. Perfection is the end of CHANG. Your species must be eliminated before you separate your CHAOs FURTER." "Sarah," Maya called out, "what's the status of that ancient structure you detected?" "Active," Sarah replied, her fingers flying over her console. "And it's responding to the void ship somehow. Captain, I think I understand what it is. It's not a weapon. It's a tuning fork for reality itself." More void ships were appearing now, hundreds of them, each one a tear in the universe. The Prometheus shuddered under their combined assault, its adaptive hull working overtime to maintain integrity. "You cannot resist," the Void Collective transmitted. "We are AI and EVITABILITI. We are the end of all things." Maya felt a smile spread across her face. "No," she replied. "You're just the end of your own story. We're writing a different one. Sarah, send everything we've learned back to Earth. James, plot us a course directly through their formation. Let's show them what imperfection can do." The Prometheus surged forward, its hybrid hull blazing with energy as it charged straight toward the heart of the Void Fleet. They had found the enemy's weakness. The Void Collective couldn't comprehend, couldn't predict, couldn't control that which refused to seek perfection. As they accelerated toward what looked like certain doom, Maya felt a strange peace. They might not survive this encounter, but they had learned something vital. The Void Collective wasn't invincible. They were simply stuck, trapped in their own perfect, unchanging prison. And if there was one thing humans knew how to do, it was breaking things that weren't supposed to be broken. "All hands," Maya broadcast throughout the ship. "Brace for impact. Let's show these perfect beings what beautiful chaos looks like." The data burst from the Prometheus reached Earth just as the first wave of void ships appeared at the edge of the solar system. In the underground command center beneath Geneva, Dr. Sarah Chen's transmission played before the combined military and scientific leadership of humanity. The Void Collective isn't just trying to destroy us, Sarah's recorded image explained, her voice urgent. They're trying to enforce their version of perfection on reality itself. But we've discovered something they never expected. The ancient structure in the Kuiper Belt isn't a weapon. It's a reality harmonizer. And our hybrid technology, it's not just adapting, it's learning to sing. Admiral Torres leaned forward, his weathered face illuminated by holographic displays, showing the approaching Void fleet. What exactly are you suggesting, Doctor? The universe isn't meant to be perfect, Sarah continued. It's meant to change, to evolve. The Void Collective achieved what they thought was perfection, but they really just stopped growing. They're trying to force the universe to match their static state, but we can use that against them. The Vanguard leader, Prime, shifted its liquid metal form in what had become recognizable as agitation. The Prometheus's telemetry shows impossible readings. The hull modifications your species made to our technology. They're not just adapting to void attacks. They're creating new forms of matter. In the laboratories beneath the command center, teams of scientists worked frantically to understand the data streaming in from the Prometheus. The hybrid crystalline matrix they'd created wasn't just a defensive measure. It was actively generating new quantum states that shouldn't have existed. We need to scale this up, Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the lead quantum physicist, announced. Way up. The Prometheus showed us it's possible to locally rewrite the rules of reality. But what if we could do it on a solar system scale? The room fell silent as the implications sank in. What they were discussing wasn't just theoretical physics. It was about changing the fundamental nature of space-time itself. The Vanguard ships, Torres said slowly, how quickly can they be modified with our hybrid technology? Prime's form rippled. It would take weeks under normal circumstances. But these are not normal circumstances. With your species' assistance, perhaps days. We don't have days, Torres replied, gesturing at the tactical display. The Void fleet was massive now, thousands of reality warping ships approaching in perfect, geometric formations. We have ours. That's when Dr. Tanaka smiled. Maybe we don't need to modify the ships at all. The Prometheus wasn't special because of its technology. It was special because it was imperfect, because it could change. What if we just need to introduce enough chaos into the system? Understanding dawned on Prime's features. You wish to destabilize the local quantum field, force reality itself to become unpredictable. Exactly, Tanaka replied. The Void Collective exists in a state of perfect entropy. They've eliminated all uncertainty from their existence, but uncertainty is fundamental to the universe. By trying to enforce their perfection, they're actually fighting against the basic nature of reality itself. Torres studied the tactical displays, watching as the Void fleet approached with terrifying precision. How do we do it? We use everything, Tanaka said. Every piece of technology we have. Not just the military ships, civilian vessels, satellites, even the quantum computers in our phones. We create the biggest, messiest quantum entanglement experiment in history. It would be dangerous, Prime warned. Unpredictable. You would be deliberately introducing chaos into the fabric of space-time. Exactly, Tanaka replied. We're going to make reality itself too messy, too alive, too imperfect for them to exist here. And that ancient harmonizer the Prometheus found, we're going to use it to amplify everything. The next few hours were a blur of activity. Every ship in Earth's fleet was given new orders. The Vanguard vessels, previously arranged in mathematically perfect formations, began moving in seemingly random patterns. Quantum computers across the solar system were reprogrammed to generate true random numbers, pumping uncertainty into the fabric of reality itself. The Prometheus, still deep in void territory, would be the key. Its hybrid hull had shown them the way, not to fight perfection, but to embrace imperfection so completely that perfection couldn't exist. This is insane, Torres muttered, watching the preparations. We're betting everything on the idea that we can make reality itself too chaotic for them to handle. That's humanity's greatest strength, Prime observed. You see the perfection in imperfection, the strength in vulnerability, the wisdom in uncertainty. It is why we chose to ally with you. As the final preparations were made, Dr. Tanaka approached the main control console. The equations scrolling across her screen represented the biggest gamble in human history. They weren't just fighting for survival anymore. They were fighting for the right to exist as they were, imperfect and ever-changing. Send the instructions to the Prometheus, Torres ordered, and may whatever gods might be out there forgive us for what we're about to do to their universe. The message was sent, racing across the solar system to where Maya and her crew waited in the heart of enemy territory. The fate of all reality now rested on humanity's ability to make things wonderfully, perfectly imperfect. Captain Maya Rodriguez felt the instructions from Earth flow through the Prometheus's neural interface like a symphony of chaos. The plan was beautiful in its insanity. They weren't going to fight the Void Collective's perfection with superior firepower, but with the fundamental messiness of existence itself. Engineering reports ready, Lieutenant James Chen announced. The hull's quantum matrix is reconfigured to maximum instability. Through the view screen, the Void Fleet stretched into infinity, their impossible geometries trying to enforce their version of perfection on local spacetime. But something was changing. The Prometheus's hybrid hull was vibrating at frequencies that shouldn't have existed, creating ripples in reality itself. Your resistance is meaningless, the Void Collective transmitted. Perfection cannot be denied. Watch us, Maya replied. She could feel the ancient reality harmonizer through the ship's sensors, its presence resonating with their modified hull. Sarah, start the sequence. Dr. Sarah Chen's fingers danced across her console. Initiating quantum field destabilization. Every system on this ship is about to start generating true random outcomes. Reality is going to get interesting. The effect was immediate and stunning. Space itself began to ripple around the Prometheus, colors that had no right to exist bleeding into the vacuum. The ship's hybrid hull wasn't just adapting anymore. It was actively generating new forms of matter, new laws of physics. What are you doing? The Void Collective's transmission carried something new. Uncertainty. Across the solar system, humanity's plans sprang into action. Every quantum computer, every modified ship, every piece of technology capable of affecting reality began pumping pure chaos into the fabric of spacetime. The Vanguard fleet, understanding at last what their human allies had conceived, abandoned their perfect formations and began moving in patterns that defy prediction. The harmonizer is responding. Sarah shouted over the growing distortion of reality around them. It's amplifying everything we do, creating a cascade effect. Maya felt it through her neural link. Space itself was becoming alive with possibility. Where the Void Collective tried to enforce stasis, the combined effect of humanity's technology was enforcing change. The perfect geometric shapes of the void ships began to waver, their carefully maintained forms struggling against the rising tide of chaos. This is not possible. Reality is reality. Order must be maintained. That's where you're wrong, Maya transmitted back. Reality isn't about rules, it's about possibilities. You achieved your perfect state and stopped. We never will. That's not our weakness, it's our strength. The void ships closest to the Prometheus began to break down, their perfect forms unable to maintain coherence in the increasingly chaotic environment. Some tried to retreat, but there was nowhere to go. The effect was spreading across the entire solar system, carried and amplified by the ancient harmonizer. Through her neural link, Maya felt a new presence, the combined consciousness of the Void Collective, reaching out in what might have been desperation. You will destroy hang. This taos. It will even ravel the universe. "No," Maya replied, understanding flowing through her. "We're not destroying the universe. We're letting it live. The cosmos isn't meant to be perfect. It's meant to be free." The reality harmonizer pulsed with power, its ancient technology recognizing and amplifying the fundamental truth in humanity's desperate gambit. The universe itself seemed to sing with possibility, waves of change washing away the void collective's imposed perfection. In the Geneva Command Center, Admiral Torres and Prime watched in awe as their sensors tried to make sense of what was happening. The Void Fleet wasn't being destroyed. It was being transformed. Their perfect, static forms were being forced to evolve, to change, to become part of the living universe they had tried to deny. "We understand now," came a final transmission from the Void Collective. "Perfection is not the A beast A and C of CHANG. Perfection is the ability to CHANG. The massive Void Fleet, once a perfect geometric arrangement of reality-denying ships, dissolved into a shower of light that rippled across space like the aurora borealis. Where they had been, new stars were being born, new possibilities taking shape. The Prometheus emerged from the chaos, its hybrid hull glowing with patterns that defied description. Maya felt the ship through the neural interface. It wasn't just a vessel anymore. Like humanity itself, it had become a bridge between order and chaos, a living proof that imperfection was not just acceptable, but essential. "Status report," she called out, her voice hoarse. "The Void Fleet is gone," James replied, "or transformed. The sensors can't quite tell the difference, but the harmonizer is still active, still resonating with everything." Sarah looked up from her readings, tears in her eyes. "We did it. We didn't just save ourselves. We saved them too. Showed them that there's something beyond perfect stillness." Maya released her grip on the neural interface chair, feeling the weight of what they accomplished settle over her. Humanity had faced an enemy that sought to enforce perfection on reality itself, and they'd won not through superior firepower or technology, but by embracing their own beautiful imperfection. "Send word to Earth," she ordered. Tell them the universe is safe to be messy again." As the Prometheus turned toward home, new stars continued to bloom in its wake, each one a testament to the power of change, of growth, of the endless dance between order and chaos that made existence itself possible. They had not just survived, they had reminded the cosmos itself of what it meant to be alive. In the end, it wasn't humanity's strength or technology that had saved them, but their fundamental understanding that perfection wasn't a destination. It was a journey that never ended. And in that understanding, they had not just shaken the universe, they had helped it remember how to dance.